What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Tonight we've got the next new archetype for Burst of Destiny. This is Flundereeze. We got those like weird little artworks for it for some of the designs a couple days ago, but Konami hadn't revealed yet whether it was going to be a full-on archetype that we get or if it was just like a one-off or two-off generic cards. Looks like though it's going to be a completely generic archetype, or not generic archetype, but just an archetype fully fleshed out, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, let's just get into it. We got a ton of cards here to get into because this is a full up situation. All right, starting off here, we have Flundereeze X Empen. He is like a cool penguin looking guy here. This is a wing beast. Okay, effect monster, level 10, crazy. It's a really high level. 2700 attack, 1000 defense, decent stats. First effect, if this card is tribute summoned, you can add a Flundereeze spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon one monster. Wow, so that's built into one effect. You just have to tribute summon him. Interesting, okay. While this tribute summon card on the field, or is a monster is on the field, your opponent's special summon monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects. That's... that effect's not terrible, I guess, because we do have a fair amount of stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! That has to, like, pull certain, like, monsters out of the deck into attack position specifically. And that's okay. That's an okay floodgate, but at least it forces them to be defensive, I guess. Somewhat, they have to summon stuff in defense mode, but usually if they're, like, linking up or something, it's not the biggest deal. And then we get to the last effect here. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can banish one card from your hand. That opponent's monster's current attack and defense both become halved until the end of this turn. Okay, so then gives the opportunity to pretty much beat over anything that is 5400 or lower. It's kind of crazy, but it costs you a card in the hand. So cool card. I'm assuming the deck is pretty good at setting up this kind of tribute summon, so we'll see what happens there. We got like some true Draco shenanigans going on. But interesting start. Gets you a search, an extra normal, an interesting floodgate effect, and able to outbid other big monsters. All right, here we have Flundereeze X Snowl. Snowl. Level 10 water wing beast monster, 2900 attack, 800 defense. This card reads, once per turn, if you control this tribute summoned card, you can activate this effect. You can conduct 3 normal summoner sets this turn, not just one. Wow. Okay, so this card just allows you to, just gives you hella extra summons. Keep in mind, this is generic, by the way. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this one too. This is just an extra normal summon, period. I didn't realize that. It's not an extra normal summon for a Flundereeze card. It's any monster you get an additional normal summon for. Same thing here. 3 normal summons instead of just the one. Very, very cool. Also, when this card is tribute summoned, while this tribute summoned monster is on the field, if your opponent attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Your monster attacks a defense position. Okay, so piercing, whatever. And then once per turn, during the opponent's turn, you can banish one card from your hand to change all opponent's special summoned monsters to face down defense position. Now that is a cool effect there. Interesting on this last effect here, it does not need to be tribute summoned to make this effect live. You just need to get it on the field, and it costs you 1 card from hand to pretty much book all of your opponent's monsters, well, specifically special summon monsters. Very cool. That's a very powerful effect. Obviously the extra normal summons is pretty strong, decent stat line. And whatever the piercing is the bonus effect. But interesting, very cool cards. I just got to see the other cards and how easily it's going to be to take advantage of these. Then we get to some of the low level monsters, which is definitely important here. Flundereeze Rabina is a level 1 water wing beast, 600 attack, 1200 defense. Is a 1-for-1 target, by the way. You can only use its first and third effects once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon the turn you activate either of those effects. Wow. Okay. So this is going to be like a full-on normal summon based archetype. If this card is normal summon, you can add a level 4 or lower winged beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a winged beast monster. Wow. Any level 4, so it rotas for any level 4 or lower, but it locks you out of special summoning, period, the entire turn. So this isn't even for the rest of the turn. But you do get an additional normal summon immediately for it. Wow. That means you could literally go normal summon this, search barrier statue, the wind barrier statue, and immediately normal summon it. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. Second effect, if this face-up card leaves the field, banish it. Okay, I guess that's a drawback, maybe. If a winged beast monster is normal summoned to your field while this card is banished, add this card back to your hand. Yo, that's a really, really good recursion, right? This is your Stratos, right? And if it banishes itself when it leaves the field, then it's just setting itself up to get itself added back to hand for your following turn. Wow, this card is insanely good. This is, I mean, I know the restriction's kind of brutal, but considering the archetype seems like it all it wants to do is normal summon, that seems really, really good. Next up, we have Flundereeze Eaglin. It's a level 1 Wind Wing Beast, another 1-for-1 target. 800 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use first and third effects once per turn each. Also, you cannot special summon the turn you activate them. Okay. If this card is normal summoned, you can add a level 7 or higher Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a Winged Beast monster. Very, very interesting. Now, what is tough here is you're searching a 7 or higher, and it gives you the immediate normal summon, but if it's 7 or higher, it needs 2 tributes. So you would already have to have something else on the field to be able to get that tribute summon off. So keep that in mind, that this card isn't a 1-card play, kind of like this one seems like it could be, at least for a barrier statue. But still a powerful effect nonetheless. Also, same thing, if this card leaves the field, banish it. And if a Winged Beast monster is normal summoned to your field while this card is banished, add this card to your hand. Wow, they just come back so freely. It's insane, man. Insane. Okay. Another one, Flundereeze Stritch. Level 1 Water Winged Beast, 700, 1100. First and third effects hard once returns, and you are locked out of special summoning if you use them. If this card is normal summoned, you can target a card in either graveyard, banish it, then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a Winged Beast. So considering they all just give you an additional normal summons, it almost feels like, what's that archetype? Yosenju, right? But this one just kind of does that as an extender, but also gives you the utility of every turn you're using it, hitting a card in your opponent's grave. Right? Like just banish something, banish something, banish something. You know, matchups like Shadal's, those grindy matchups. If you're continually summoning this guy every turn, you're just like, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. I also like that it's any card. So in like Shadal matchups, again, hitting their fusion spells that are engraved, so they can't just recur those, forcing them to get those via other outlets and potentially locking them out of fusion summoning, period. Very, very good. And then the other effects look to be the same. If he leaves the field, he's banished, and if a Winged Beast is normal summoned, he adds himself back to hand. That's so insane, dude. They all just do that. That's so crazy. I can't believe that. You literally just do your play and add back like 3 of them. And then the last one, I'm sure he does the same thing as they do. First and third effects hard once return. This one's a wind 1, attack 500, defense 13. So I said these are 1-for-1 targets, but you don't want to use 1-for-1 because you don't want to special summon at all in this deck. First effect, if this card's normal summon, target one of your banished Thundereeze cards and add it to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a wind wing or a regular winged beast. Also banish if it leaves the field. Also, if you normal summon a winged beast while it's banished, add it back to your hand. This card's insanely. This card's nice, although the one thing I wonder about is that all of your main deck monsters are adding themselves back to hand, so I guess it can potentially recur the big boys, or maybe a spell or trap. We'll see what happens with those, but very, very strong. The main deck monsters look insane, specifically this guy, this guy. And honestly, they're all good. This guy, I'm curious how helpful he is, considering they all add themselves back, but still. All right, next up is the spells. We start with a field spell. Uh-oh. This is Flundereeze and the Mysterious Map. This is has 2 hard once a turn effects that you can use both once per turn. During your main phase, you can reveal 1 Flundereeze monster in hand, and if you do, banish a Thundereeze card with a different name from your deck. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon the revealed monster. Okay, so this is all part of like combo pretty much, what I'm getting from this, because you'll go reveal a main deck monster, right, to banish a different name. So you banish another one, then you normal summon the first one, that, or the one that it says normal summon the one you revealed. Then that monster will trigger to do his thing, but then also get you an additional normal summon. And these guys are adding themselves back as well. The one you banish is going to add himself back to hand because you just normal summoned a winged beast. So you're kind of just going like bloop, bloop, bloop. You're putting 2 on the field. You're resolving their normal summon effects, and you're just kind of popping off. I think this is just a good one for consistency. It's kind of just like a nice extender, and it's every turn, right? Which is also really good. Just this deck kind of seems like it wants to be like Drytron-ish, where like you just want to get all of your Flundereeze monsters, especially the small ones, just kind of set up to be in the banish zone, because like they're just going to rotate as resources every single turn. Really strong. And the second effect says if your opponent normal summons a monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves normal summon a Flundereeze monster. So that's really interesting as well. I guess that's kind of nice because it allows you to play on your opponent's turn. Because if you had already used their normal summon effects, you might have just ended up holding some of them in your hand when they add back. But this allows you to like get resources, continue to grind on your opponent's turn when they attempt to play. So field spell seems pretty good, just nice kind of consistency extender card. Really cool. Then we have Flundereeze and the Unknown Wind. This is a continuous spell. Second effect's a hard once per turn. The first effect reads, you can conduct a tribute summon that requires 2 tributes by sending 1 monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard instead of tributing, and it is still treated as a tribute summon. Wow. And this says send and any card. Wow. And this, correct me if I'm wrong, this isn't even an activated effect. This is almost like Lair of Darkness style. Like you're tributing it. It counts as a tribute. Technically it's being sent, so that's like the technicality of how it's being removed. But it's like there's no activated effect. Their card, they have nothing to negate or whatever. This card seems insanely strong, has Flundereeze in the name, so could be searchable. Also during your main phase, you can reveal up to 2 winged beasts monsters in your hand, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, then draw the same number of cards. Also gives you a cycle effect. This card also seems really kind of crazy. Okay. So everything here so far seems really good, except for the only thing I would say is disruption. This guy's effect is really good, right? Just kind of like the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno effect. So just like Book of Moon, everything. That's a really strong disruption effect. But other than that, there's not a ton of disruption here. This thing's Floodgate effect is only for attack monsters, not any monster. So I definitely question that. But, you know, still decent. So let's keep going. Next we have traps, so this could be our disruption here. Flundereeze and the City of Dreams. It's a normal trap. You can only use the second effect once per turn. During the main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a level 4 lower wing beast monster. That's pretty busted, especially if you had like Barrier Statue in hand. You could like quick summon Barrier Statue on your opponent's turn. Yeah, that's kind of busted. Also, if you tribute summon a level 7 or higher monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card to change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. Woo! Woo! Okay, so like we said up here, there were a couple things that make us think that potentially we could be normal summoning on our opponent's turn, but this one only triggers specifically on tribute summon. So if we can tribute summon on our opponent's turn, then we can book all their monsters again while this is in grave. Dang, son. I guess the idea would be like this card triggers to normal summon one of the small guys while you have a big guy in hand. Then the small guy you normal summon gives the effect for an additional normal summon. So then you're tribute summoning for the big guy that you have in hand, and then that triggers the second effect to get the Book of Moon. Wow, that's crazy. Then we have the last card here. This is a counter trap, Flundereeze and the Scary Sea. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If you control a face-up tribute summon monster and no special summon monsters, and your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, your opponent cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, but they can conduct 3 normal summons or sets, not just one. Also negate the summon, and if you do, return that monster or monsters to the hand. Wow, this is a counter trap that has a lot going on, but what I love most about it is with how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played currently, this card does just end turns. I mean, think about Dragon Link. Like, they give them 3 normal summons. Normal summon your whole hand. I don't care, because if you can't go into your extra deck, you don't do anything substantial. So you're going to bounce the monster they summoned back to the hand, but that's probably an extra deck monster, so bounce the extra deck monster, so they still lost the first normal summon, and then they just can't special summon. They get 2 more normal summons. Wow, this card's crazy. It does require you to have one of the big boys up. You have to have a tribute summon monster up, but that's not the end of the world. That's a pretty strong one there. So honestly, I don't know if there's a single card I read here that I was like, poop, that's garbage. This guy's searching you spells and traps, which as we saw were pretty good. This guy's UCT. This guy's Stratos. This guy's Stratos. This guy helps you just like banish stuff from your opponent's graveyard, which obviously right now is very good. This guy's Recursion. This guy is an extra normal summon and helps fix your hands and lets you play on your opponent's turn. This guy lets you tribute your opponent's shiz. Man, this deck is crazy in the grind. How does this deck lose a grind game? All right, very, very cool. I really like it. I think there's a lot of potential here. Obviously, I do think there is the possibility. I do think the deck does potentially have like very obvious choke points. Like if you just stop their first normal summon, they can't continue to like pop off like normal summon, normal summon, normal summon, normal summon. It's like Yosenju, right? Stop the first one and they can't continue to normal summon. But once they get everything like set up, they look so strong. Like once they get all their little birds in the banish zone and just rotating them like every turn, looks really, really good. The only thing I could say is like potentially better disruption would be nice. Like the counter trap is strong, but obviously it's just like it's kind of specific. You have to be very set up for it. But I'm sure there are combos that easily do that. So very, very cool. I like this a lot. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. I can't wait to see what people end up doing with this. I definitely think it has a ton of potential, especially with something like Barrier Statue, because this guy is just a 1-card Barrier Statue lock, which is awesome. But yeah, that's gonna do it from here, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about this deck? This deck looks insane. So far, do you think the restriction of no special summoning essentially is going to be too much for the deck to overcome? Or we've seen True Draco be good in fairly recent years and they don't special summon at all. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'm definitely curious what you have there, or if you have any specific interactions of cards that already exist other than Barrier Statue that would be really, really cool in this deck. And yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. Let's get it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't. You want to see more news videos or talked about from me, by me. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.